tough matchup tonight. We could very well end up facing these guys in the postseason. So it's important to learn what we can and show them we're not about to back down. If we get it done here, it'll give us that much more confidence if we see them again. The stakes are raising every day at this point, so I better man up.
A beautiful evening here in Chicago, Illinois, as we take a look at the iconic high-rises of downtown Chicago. We're live, the home of the Chicago Bulls, the United Center. Just a single game at home. After this one, it's back on the road for the Bulls. They're one of the top-flight teams in the league with the second-best record in the Eastern Conference.
This is a team with high expectations, and they don't end with the regular season.
And they've been every bit as good as expected, Greg, rolling through the regular season, and they're gathering momentum as the postseason grows closer. I would say they'll be dangerous again in the playoffs.
And it's going to be the Bulls off the tip. Mirotic comes in for Mike Dunleavy. Atlanta also making some changes here. Freq comes in for Cephalosha. And Dennis Schroeder subbed in for Kyle Korver. On the court for Atlanta, Millsap at power forward with Horford at the center. Dennis Schroeder is out there with Teague, and it's Freq in at the 3 slot. Now here's Freq. Looking at his numbers, he averages a bit over 9 points a game. And the basket by Horford.
And Horford, guys, is so dangerous in that pick and roll because he's athletic enough to roll to the rim and finish in traffic, but he can also pick and pop for the mid-range jumper. Puts a lot of pressure on opposing defense.
The shot by Butler, nobody around. And a miss there on the triple. Oh, and a fast break for Atlanta. And the ball travels out of bounds. It was last touched by Rose.
All right, a chance to check out the stats for Jeff Teague. He's been more than solid over the last month, averaging 15 points a game, 7 assists, and 2 rebounds. And I think he's got to be pretty pleased with his output. And you know he's always looking to push himself.
Yeah, you know, really solid numbers across the board here, Greg. I mean, he contributes in a multitude of ways for this club.
Now Millsap, after Jimmy Butler missed from long range. Earlier, Doris Burke spoke with head coach Fred Hoiberg. What'd you find out, DB?
We talked about the keys to this game, and he singled out Paul Millsap as a player they've simply got to be mindful of. Coach told me he's always been an energy guy, someone you have to locate and box out every possession. But he's developed his offensive game to the point where he's more than just a hustle guy. He's also a scoring threat now, and a guy we can't leave open. They'll be watching him, Kevin.
Always great to hear from you, Doris. So for the Bulls, Tony Snell's checked in for Butler, and it's Brooks in for Derrick Rose. Atlanta also making some changes here. Splitters checked in for Horford. Mike Scott comes in for Paul Millsap. And Hardaway is subbed in for Jeff Teague. Now here's Gibson. He had a 15-point outing in their last game against the Magic in Orlando.
And how about the execution on that play? The screen was set up in exactly the right spot.
And the finish wasn't too bad either.
Perfectly designed and perfectly executed.
Mirotic, the screen. Brooks dishes to Mirotic, and the layup is good. Mirotic has got his second bucket tonight.
Boy, that was a rugged screen set there, fellas, and the defense didn't even try to go through that one.
Hardaway kicks to Scott. That drops, and it comes off the assist from Hardaway.
There you go again. A nice kick out after the D had collapsed on him.
And for Atlanta, they come in off a good outing against the Detroit Pistons.
Proficient in that game at the offensive end of the floor. I mean, their passing was dynamic, and their shot selection was superb.
You do those two things hand in hand, Greg, you know the result. You move the ball like they did and take smart, good shots, you're coming away with a lot of wins.
Took him no time at all on that one. Hardaway has got his first bucket of the night. Chicago leading by 4. Brooks, the pass to Gibson. They set the screen. Out of bounds, Atlanta will take possession.
That is just a careless turnover. You've got to be smarter in those exchanges.
Now 8 seconds separating the two clocks. They've definitely hit that groove offensively.
They sure have, guys. I mean, really aggressive. And I like that posture and mindset. Stay aggressive.
Yeah,
Greg, you like groove, don't you?
I do. Let's groove tonight, Kevin. And matter of fact, let's just stay in the attack mode that we're seeing from these guys. They're getting whatever they want.
Hardaway dishes to Schroeder. And lots of contact there. Missing the shot. He'll shoot 2.
Nice work to get it inside and draw the contact.
Exactly. The defense determined not to allow the easy layup right there. They'll settle for making him earn the free throws.
Both good from the line that time. Here's Brooks. 3 seconds left. Buries the jump shot.
Wow, got that one off right in the face of the big fella. Nice quick fire release.
Yeah, and the mid-range shot really the only option in that situation. Sometimes when you're facing a bigger guy, you can't get it all the way to the rim.
And a chance now to hear from Paul Millsap talking about the confidence of his team.
Our attitude approaching the game has been, we can beat any team in this league. If we work together and, put everything into play, we'll be all right. And that's the kind of attitude we've been having. That's the attitude we have to keep.
Greg, it's got to be more than just attitude, right? I mean, ultimately, don't you have to have guys step up and produce in some cases or even overproduce?
You do, but really it is about attitude and confidence. I mean, those are the two elements that if you bring to the table, you really will have a chance to beat anyone. And so don't discount that attitude when you're on a roll. They call it getting your swag on today. Back in the day, it was called having your mojo working.
Right.
So same thing, and you can ride that for quite a ways.
And buenas noches, basketball fans. It's Latin night here on 2K Sports. And you might have noticed the custom jerseys worn by the players. And guys, what's your take on the Bulls so far?
It's been about the pace. You can see they're going to try to keep this game in the open floor.
Yeah, and it's been a tempo that they like. And
Fairly new group here. Joakim Noah, he's checked in for Gasol. Mirotic comes in for Taj Gibson. Tony Snell's checked in for Mike Dunleavy. And Brooks subbed in for Derrick Rose. Passes it to Brooks. Clock at 6. Noah the screen, jacks up a 3. Aaron Brooks, and that's good. Brooks has got 5.
And he came off that screen, and the D just didn't get over the top of it.
Yep, weren't there in time enough to challenge Greg, and when that's the case, you can mark those up for him.
Here's Scott with nobody on him. He buries the jumper.
And Mike Scott out of Virginia becoming a pretty deadly spread 4 in the pros. He only shot a single 3 his rookie season. Last season, threes made up almost half the shots he attempted.
Now let's go to Doris Burke. Doris?
Well, Kev, Freq in the last matchup against the Pistons was a big factor. He picked up 5 points, and he was on target the whole contest. Very few misses from him all night. You really can't have a better shooting performance than that. He ended the game perfect from the field.
All right, thank you as always, Doris. And another special game from a player that we know is incredibly capable for this team.
Yeah, and he proved his value again in that last game. I mean, he's a cog in their machine, no doubt.
Yeah, and they're going to need a few other players to lend a bigger hand today. I mean, they can't expect him to carry the entire load 2 games in a row.
And Mike Scott provides instant offensive punch off the bench.
Over the last couple of seasons, his defenses maybe and rebounding have gone south, but he doesn't have any problems getting the ball up and knocking down shots. He's just got to continue to find the balance so that he's not just a scorer, but he's able to do some other things too.
Oh, that's That's a tough three-point try when you've got the defense right there.
Well, he'd have to be really good to knock down the shot like that against that kind of defense.
Noah the screen. Inside. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up and 2 shots coming up. And last year, not exactly up to Noah's lofty standards. He was way down in field goal percentage and free throw percentages compared to the season before, but he did not play completely healthy all of last year either.
A little dinged up, missed 13 games more than he had the season prior, and also the minutes dropped as well. And you could just see him laboring at times on the floor, clearly affected by those injuries.
And, you know, going back to Noah last season, I think the additions to the Bulls front court had an effect on him. I mean, they added Gasol and Mirotic, 2 major talents up front. I think that gave Noah less opportunities than he'd had the year before, and it was an adjustment for him.
And guys, talking about Joakim Noah, he was still the spirit of that team last season. Amongst all the great talents the Bulls had, Noah was that energizer and catalyst for the team, a true warrior, even in an off year.
4 seconds separating the shot and game clocks. Shooter kicks to Scott. Nice ball movement here by Atlanta. Here's Freq. That's in, and he's now 3 for 3 and looking sharp. 19 seconds left in the first half of the game. Brooks up on top. He's guarded by Schroeder. Brooks up on top. Here's Mirotic. No good on the triple. And the first half comes to a close. We've got a close game going on here. The Hawks on top. Third quarter now beginning. Both sides looking to pull away in the last half of the game. So Chicago going with an almost entirely new group here. Taj Gibson's checked in for Noah. Mirotic comes in for Mike Dunleavy. Tony Snell's checked in for Butler. And Brooks subbed in for Rose. And the Hawks will go for a different look here. Splitter's checked in for Horford. Scott comes in for Paul Millsap. Freq's checked in for Cephalosha. And Dennis Schroeder subbed in for Kyle Korver. And so in the game for the Hawks, Freq, he's in at small forward. Teague out there with Dennis Schroeder. Then it's Mike Scott. And it's Splitter in at the center position. And Mike Scott, a former second-round draft pick who has carved out a role here in the NBA the last 2 seasons, Clark. He was a major contributor off the bench.
Yeah, he's a bit of a tweener, you know, not big enough to maintain position down low on a consistent basis and not quick enough to really be a 3-man or small forward. But what he can do is get to the basket, rebound okay, and knock down the deep shot.
The Bulls have made 3 of 5 free throw attempts.
And getting back to Mike Scott, his three-point percentage and attempts have increased each year he's been in the league. With a high, quick release, he's capable of making tough shots with a hand in his face in a way other players simply can't.
Gibson the screen. And Brooks. Here we go. Gasol. And Splitter pulls it down.
And typically he has the touch to finish when he's in tight, but not sure on that possession.
And 2 shots coming up at the line as he gets fouled on the shot. And Chicago called for the foul.
You know, guys, we were talking about Scott shooting from downtown, but he can also score from mid-range, pick and pop off the dribble. When he's able to square his shoulders, he's deadly. I mean, he's a versatile big guy with a nice shooting touch.
Paul Millsap is checked in for the Hawks. And the one thing Tiago Splitter gives you every year, Clark, is consistency. The numbers, the effort, the results, all very familiar every year.
Yeah, his game is really built on the intangibles. He hustles, he knows where he's supposed to be, he gets to the right spot at the right time, crashes the boards, takes charges, he does all the little stuff.
Schroeder passes to Freq. Tipped away. Brooks kicks to Mirotic to the wing right side. 3-pointers. Snell Another shot. It will go down, and the Hawks' lead is cut down to just 2 points on the bucket from Mirotic.
How about the perseverance there, the extra effort on that offensive glass?
Kicks it to Schroeder. Millsap a screen. Schroeder passes to Freq. Rejected by Gasol. And Brooks. Here we go. Wasted no time on that shot, but it's off the mark. Atlanta's gone 1 of 3 from downtown since halftime. Millsap a screen on Brooks. Schroeder kicks to Millsap. Off the mark there with the three-point shot. And the foul called on Freq. That's his first foul of the game, and the bonus will go to the free throw line. Bulls have gone 4 of 6 so far. 24 seconds left in the fourth quarter. At small and power forward, it's Dunleavy and Gasol. Derrick Rose is out there with Brooks. And it's Gibson in at the 5 down low. So that's the 5 in the game for Chicago. Here's Dunleavy. Brooks outside. And there's the pass to Portis. Snell dishes to Brooks. Feeds it to Snell from downtown, and he gets the bucket. And so the Hawks take the win. This was a very strong showing for him, Greg. Not necessarily a runaway win, but one they'll feel very good about.
And let's face it, anytime you can go on the road and win in the fashion they did, you have to feel good about it. Really an outstanding effort all the way around.
And that'll do it, folks. For Clark Kellogg, Greg Anthony, and Doris Burke, this is Kevin Harlan along with our entire 2K Sports crew, thanking you for tuning in. Now it's time to head back to the studio with Ernie Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, and Kenny Smith.
The 2K Sports postgame show.
Thank you, Kevin. And now we get a chance to present our Jordan Player of the Game, Jeff T. He's not always known to make the big headlines or get a lot of media attention, but he does make the big plays, and he made them throughout this one.
He was in a groove tonight, Ernie, Kenny. He's getting in that playoff mode already. Perfect timing with the postseason approaching.
And folks, that'll wrap it up for tonight. We hope you enjoyed the game. For Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny the Jet Smith, Kevin Harlan, and the entire...
Yeah, send him in. Cece.
Hey, how are you?
Good to see you again.
My pleasure.
Freq. Great game last night.
That's what I do, right?
Indeed. Have a seat. Pagnotti.
How you doing?
Thought you'd be selling used cars by now.
Funny, comedian. I thought you would have invested in some new clothes, being a team owner and all. I see you still rocking that Goodwill look.
Freq, what are you hanging around with this guy for? You know he's bad company, right?
Got no choice. He helps me pay the bills. Plus, our mother loves him.
Thank you all for coming by on such short notice.
You're welcome.
So you know why we're here, right?
Not really.
You want to negotiate an extension for Freq, right?
Well, since you mentioned it, your client is quickly becoming a liability for this organization.
We've already put a plan in place that's going to address all your concerns and issues.
Let me finish. Thank you. Myself, the front office, and the coaches are not satisfied with the adjustments you've made in your life off the court. I personally warned you about the company you keep, and we're fed up with the late nights and showing up late to shoot-arounds and the bad press and the incident at the nightclub. I told you Vic was going to be your downfall, and I was right. Something has to change now, or we're not going to need your services any longer.
If this is about that Twitter stuff,
Vic was playing. Okay, it was a joke.
It's not about that. It's everything.
Like I told you before, Vic is my best friend. I can't just cut him off. He's practically family.
Not really.
What exactly are you trying to say?
I'm not trying to say anything, Dom. I'm saying it. Freq and his friend Vic are a problem for me and this organization. And I called you in here to figure out how we all together can fix this problem. And right now, I'm only seeing one solution.
I agree that Freq may need to make some adjustments in his personal life off the court, but that's a learning process. We both know that. But this almost sounds like a threat. And Dom Pagnotti doesn't take too kindly to threats. Is this a threat?
Call it what you will.
We all know that Vic is a problem. The only person who doesn't seem to realize that is my brother. I'm sorry, bro, but enough is enough.
I don't have a problem with what you're saying. I have a problem with how you're saying it. Now, I know we can come to some understanding without all the ultimatums or threats.
Can we all come to a understanding, a compromise?
No, no more compromises. I already warned Freq. I told you. Don't be a hero. Cut that zero. It's cut Vic loose, or we trade Freq. It's that simple.
Fine, we'll go sign with another team.
Good luck with that, Pagnotti. Because of Vic, Freq's reputation precedes him.
No, because of Freq's God-given talent, his reputation precedes him.
Everybody's been talking. Dom, you know how this works. This is not about you and me and our history. This is about your client. Help him.
You talking as if I'm invisible. You talking around me, about me, but not to me. Vic has always had my back. And I've given this team everything I got. I practice hard. I play hard. Yeah, some nights I got it, some nights I don't. Some days I might even show up a little late to shoot-arounds. But every time I'm on that court, I've always given my best. And I see how it is, though. I mean, us players got to be loyal to you, but you don't have to be loyal to us players. Try to give me some father and son talk, talking about how you love your players and how you look up for them. Come on, man. You trying to cut me off like you cut off Izzy. Don't you have people loyal to you no matter what? People you can't cut off? Well, that's me and Vic. Vic and me. Y'all insist, really. They could tell me stop hanging with Vic. What makes you think they won't tell me stop talking to you? You remember in 7th grade, some guys were trying to jump me over some girl. Vic was the one to get some friends just to walk me home. And when they came, we went at it, but I wasn't alone. When I got my scholarship, it was Vic who put the word on the streets that nobody should mess with me because I had a future. Vic was protecting me. And sir, I know Vic is crazy. But before all the hype and the lights, media, fans, it was just me and Vic. He's always been there. I mean, if y'all don't like that, I don't know what to say.
It hurts me to say this, but I see his point. What you don't understand is that the league doesn't have your back anymore. Not like they used to. They try, but it's too much. Social media has changed everything. And this last incident with Vic, that was the final straw.
It was a joke.
It wasn't funny. You know it wasn't a joke. Vic was defending you, stepping in to protect your honor by attacking another teammate like that? Talking about his manhood, his wife, his kids, his family, so you can be the big dog on the court? That's uncalled for.
And they all know your relationship with Vic, so they think it's coming from you.
But that's the media blowing everything out of proportion as usual.
It's not just the media. He's attacking other players, other teams. He's out of control. Vic just doesn't know how to behave.
We got guys on our squad who don't want to be here because of that beef. There is no place for that kind of inappropriate behavior in this league. If you can't trust your teammates, who can you trust?
What Vic is doing isn't right. He's bringing you down, and people can see it. I see how all the other players are looking at you. Oh, it's not cool. It's not cool at all.
What, don't talk to him? Don't hang with him?
You do what you got to do. That's your call. But let me tell you this. You asked me if I had friends that I couldn't cut off? Yeah, I did for a while. Friends, business partners, girlfriends, wives, family that I thought I couldn't cut off. But I learned that sometimes you got to make the hard decisions. I mean, some of these people, they were just bad for me. They were bringing me down. They weren't making me better. They were good for the time that they were there, but I grew up. Not in age and maturity, but in mind and spirit. I was ready for the next level in my life. And I'll be honest with you, I've been on the receiving end of that. I've been cut off before myself. And yeah, it hurt at the time. But looking back, they were doing the right thing for me. Just don't tell my ex-wife that, Pagnotti.
So what's the next move?
The next move is Freq's. It always has been. Question is he ready and willing to do what needs to be done?
This is messed up.
You take a moment to think about it, but think long, think wrong. The snafu should have been cleaned up a long time ago. With or without you, we got games to win.
Freq, you gotta handle your business.
Okay, we've all said our piece. You might cut me off as your manager, but I will always be your sister. Twin, this is on you. I might not like it, but I will respect any decision you make. Yvette, please.
Cece.
Yvette.
Where's Dom?
I had him call you.
Why?
I'm gonna cut right to the chase. My brother is deeply in love with you. And I'm ready to put our differences aside if you are.
Really?
On a string.
I'm with it.
Team Freq.
Team Freq.
All right, so if you're gonna be down with the team, I gotta show you the dap.
The dap.
Yeah.
Okay.
It goes like this.
Oh.
1, 2, 3, shoot,
swish. Swish.
Yeah. Again.
Like.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Okay. 1, 2, 3, swish.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like that.
Cool, right?
Yeah.